one other item that pertains strictly to the SLA, but you can use it without using the SLA as well, and that is this resolution status. The reason that we added the resolution status in there was what we're measuring with the SLA, which stands for Service Level Agreement, is response time, how quickly your technicians are getting to the tickets, and then the resolution time. And so with this resolution status, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It looks and functions just the same as the priorities or the regular statuses of the tickets. The ones that come on install would be unresolved, fixed, duplicate, and can't reproduce. So most often, you know, it's going to default to the unresolved until it's changed to something else. We do have a fixed, which means that the ticket is closed out, the item was done. A lot of times when you're looking or running a help desk, you do have duplicate tickets, so you can mark them as duplicate when you close them out. And then if it's also something that you can't reproduce on your side, you could close the ticket out and put that in as well. Now, you don't have to use these. You can change the names if you would like, or you can delete them as well and just have one or two. That's completely up to you. And so you'll notice when I do log in and show you a ticket, I'll point out where that resolution status is there. So even if your company doesn't want to measure response time or resolution time, you can still use this resolved status to explain how the actual ticket was resolved, you know, rather than putting it into the comment or something. Duplicate is probably going to be the one that most of you will use. But under here, under the service level agreements, we have some options here. The first one is going to be SLA Models. Now, this will go ahead and just say default model to it. You can name that. If you have more than one service level agreement, you can put a name in here. If you don't, it'll just stay at the default, which you know, you can identify as the only one that you have up and running. So here we've added some rules. We have a low, a medium, and a high. And so it's saying, you know, the response time on a high priority ticket needs to be within 1 hour, and it needs to be resolved within 8 hours. For a low priority ticket, the response time is going to be 16 hours, and our resolution time parameters that we have entered is 40. You can create as many as you would like. So you can select which priorities you're using here. You can put in the response time and the resolution time, and then which calendar you're using. Now, the system will automatically create 2 calendars. One is a 24/7 and one is a 9 to 5. Now, I know a lot of you are school districts. You don't work 9 to 5 or 24/7. So you might want your SLAs to count different times. And those are all things that you can edit right here under the business hours calendar. So here's those 2 defaults that I talked about. But if I want to go ahead and edit those, I'm just going to click on the pencil there, and I can change the name here. I can select the days, and then I can change the start and the end time. Now, with the holiday schedules, when you originally set this up, this will be blank. And so you'll click here to create new. Now notice mine is going to default to 2016 because the system is already detecting that there's a 2015 schedule year. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a 2016 so that you can see it. So we'll title it that. You can title it something different if you would like. So here it creates the year, and then you're going to add in the holidays. So these holidays are designated by country and then by state. So we're just going to go ahead, I'll show you the United States, and then I'm going to select Utah just because I know we have a holiday, you know, that not others have. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And so it's going to pull in all of those holidays that are specific to that state. So here's, we have a Pioneer Day in July. So that one is added in. Let's say there are some businesses in Utah that don't recognize and don't give the day off to their employees. You could just go ahead and X that out. And for you schools that are out there, you will have added holidays like, let's say you have a spring break or a Christmas break. You can go ahead and just click Create New, and you're going to add in the names and the dates of that particular holiday. And so all of this is customizable to each customer, and you can put in whatever days that your technicians are not working so that these service level agreements will not count against them So if a ticket for some reason is put in over Christmas break, your technician isn't going to see it until they come back to work, and it would start the day that they come back to work at 7 a.m. if that's when your start time is set up. So that's the basic setup for you. Oh, there's one other thing, probably the most important. Sorry about that. Under groups, you just have to come in and select which SLA model you would like to be associated with that group. So this makes it so if your maintenance department is using the help desk as well and they have a different SLA model than, say, your IT department, you can create two, and they will just be considered as far as which group they're set up to. So that's just right here. You would select which model you're running. So I'm going to go ahead and log out, and I'm going to show you from a user side the differences that they're going to see, if any. So I've logged in as a user, and I'm just going to submit a new ticket. So for them, notice everything looks the same except for I do have the resolution here, but you can edit the permission model to take that off. So the difference that they're going to see is as soon as they submit the ticket, notice the SLA box is going to appear here in the upper right-hand corner. So what this is saying is time to response is within 1 hour, and this is within 8 hours. So they'll close it out. They probably won't even notice that. So for them, you know, everything on their end is the same. So I'm going to sign in as a tech or a manager here to show you the differences here. So here's a ticket that was put in earlier today. I can come here and let's say this was closed out. I'm going to set this to closed. And then the resolution status, I'm going to go ahead and put it fixed. And I'm just going to save that. So I'm working the ticket just like normal. But if you notice, the SLA up here is showing me that it's been met because this ticket was put in 2 hours and 45 minutes ago. My time to resolution was set within 8 hours. So this is telling the technician that this SLA has been met. So as far as the technicians go, the only difference that they're going to be able to tell, you know, if their response time and their resolution time was met, and they're also going to have that resolution status. So this resolution status will be there regardless. So even if you're not going to utilize the SLA feature, then you can go ahead and have the resolution status set there for your technicians. Now, and then from a manager's point of view, when you click on the SLA tab, what you're going to see is the last 3 months. So this is going to default to 3 months from today, and then today's the end date. You can change those. We just put that in as a default, but you can put in, you know, any time frames that you would like. And then you're going to see your technicians here. So you're going to see what is met. If it's red, then that means that it's been breached. And so I've only played with this a little bit in this demo today. So there's just a few tickets in here. So considering the amount of tickets that most of you have, these numbers would be a lot higher here. And just know that when you set up the SLA feature and you're going to start looking at response time and resolution time, it's only going to count on the tickets that are created after that is set up. So if you set it up today, any tickets after that would then be included in this response and resolution time. The ones before that, you know, we have no way of calculating if they met or breached the SLA. So another feature here, let me come back. On the SLA piece, just so that I can mention, because I'm sure that you'll ask the question, as far as the reporting feature on the response time and the resolution time, and then the other question I get is, can we put in a resolution that stops the time? So let's say you have a technician that's waiting for a part. You know, you don't want that 5 days to count against them, and so what we are doing with our next release is putting in a status that will stop the time. You know, whatever description you enter will be up to you, but it'll just be one that will stop the time for the technicians so that it's not counted against them, as well as being able to print out reports based on the SLA. Those will be incorporated into version 11.1. So as far as the watcher feature goes, the watcher feature is something that we we had a lot of customers come to us and they would want either multiple technicians to work on a ticket, or we deal a lot with schools. They would want a principal or a director to be able to see tickets but not necessarily become a technician. They didn't need to have the rights of a technician, they just needed to be notified on certain tickets. So for a technician or a manager, when they are working a ticket, or let's say you have a technician who is ultimately responsible for this ticket. So right here we have Tom Brady, but he has 3 other technicians that are working with him, and so he would like them to be notified with any changes, be able to make comments on the ticket if needed. If you click on this watchers, the number there right now is saying that nobody's watching, but if you click in the box, you can go ahead and select these people that are in the system that you would like to be able to see everything on this ticket. Now, if you grant them, like this Coy Cannon, he's a user, but Peyton Manning is a technician, when they view this ticket, they'll have the same rights that they have with whatever role that they have in the system. So if Coy Cannon as the user came to this ticket, you know, he's not going to have the rights to change the status or the resolution or the priority or even the assignment, you know, however you have that set up, but the technician would. So let's say you're using this so that your principals can just view tickets or directors, just see what's going on, but they're just a user in the help desk. Then they're just going to have those same rights to that ticket. So you don't have to worry about them making a change or changing a status or changing an assignment. Those things are still set for technicians and managers. So you can just go ahead and save that. You can take watchers off at any time as well. But that's basically what that watcher feature is. And like I said, it's utilized in how to have more than one technician work on a ticket or just to send out notifications to certain people. So another thing that I do want to show you that applies to both of these is we have added some permissions in the permission model so that you can say, you know, who you want to have access to those types of things. So right here it says view all group SLA status. If you give this permission to someone or to a role, that's going to give them this tab here to be able to see the SLA status for every technician. Now down here at the bottom, we have added the view watchers and the change watchers, just the same as we have up here. So if you don't want your end users to see who's watching it, you can go ahead and set this to technician. Or if you do want your end users to be able to add watchers, so let's say you have teachers submitting tickets and you want them to notify their principal or somebody at that location that it's been submitted, you can change that to user. And it's the same with the resolution as well. If you want them to view the resolution like I had set up here, that's fine. If you don't want them to view it, if you're going to use that strictly as a technician tool, then you can have that to where only the technicians will view that resolution status. Now, a couple other things that came out in version 11. One was the installer. We updated the installer to go ahead and update to Tomcat 7 and Java 7. This is something that if you're going to go ahead and use our installer and you're going to upgrade those 2 items, our support staff is recommending that you uninstall the previous version before you reinstall this one because it's just a smoother transition. Another item that was in 11.0, if you notice there's a button here that says SSO for single sign-on. We do have a partner, KeyShield, which we do integrate with, but we also integrate with CAS, and so there's 2 options here. If it is KeyShield, then they'll just go ahead and give you the server, or you'll put in the server information, and then the same with CAS here. So if those are 2 types or 2 options that you can integrate there with the single sign-on, but that's where you'll find it. It's logged in as the administrator, and it's right here under licensing. Now another enhancement that this had, I don't know if a lot of you run filters and you do the mass update feature. So I'm just going to go ahead and just create one here real quick. I'll just do everything in this group because there's not much in this demo. So you have filters set up, and your technicians can even have filters set up to look at all of their tickets. And so all of them appear here. Now, if you use the mass update feature, you can select multiple tickets here, and then you can click mass update, and here's all of the items that you can update. So it was a great feature which saved technicians a lot of time. They could come here and change the status to all of these tickets to closed. Go ahead and save that, and it closes all the tickets at once so that they don't have to go into each and every ticket in order to close it out. Now, what wasn't happening before was there was no notifications being sent out that those tickets were closed because it was doing it through the mass update feature. But now we do have an option here on the bottom. The technician, they can click Notify Tech if they want to get an email, or they can notify the end user to let them know that those tickets have been closed, or if maybe there's just a note, you know, whatever they're changing on the ticket, they can notify the technician, the user, or anybody that was placed in the CC or the BC area. So those things have been added here to that mass update feature so that those notifications do go out. And that's not something that was there prior to version 11. And then the watcher feature, since it was added in version 10.5, we did leave it off the ticket templates. And so in version 11, it has now been added so that you can, let's say you set up a ticket template for a new hire and you want, you know, your human resources person to know that you have started, you know, getting this person in the door and getting them set up. You know, you can make them a watcher on those templates, or maybe it's a director of a certain department. You know, if you're launching things that reoccur, you know, every 3 months, then they can be notified as well. So that watcher feature is also available on the templates as well as just on the ticket themselves. Okay, so Kyla just sent me a message that somebody asked if we would go over the Asset Manager feature. I can go over the asset piece. I'm going to actually log into my demo to do this just because I have assets in there. I just installed this other one on my machine this morning. Okay, so under the asset piece, I don't know if you know, but we do have a third-party software that comes free with the HelpDesk. And it's called Explorer, and you can install it on one computer on your network, and it will sniff your network and it will pull all of the information into Explorer. Then what Explorer does is it hooks up with the HelpDesk, and then you can go ahead and import those items here to the HelpDesk. A lot of people have another program they're using, or they might just have an Excel file, which is great. We can import an Excel file of all of the assets as well. But that network sniffer is actually, it's just pretty slick, pretty easy, and it dumps the information for you. So the information that will come across, I'm just going to go ahead and open up one of these assets. We only require four identifiers when adding in an asset, and these are these top four: asset number, the name, the type, and the status. So if you notice, type and status are drop-down menus. And so before you do this, you're going to want to set up the asset types and the statuses here, just so that they can match up that way. There's a lot of other information that it can hold as well. Right here under Network, this is the tab that we added when we incorporated with the Network Discovery utility. The reason we did this, we weren't tracking MAC address or IP address, that kind of stuff prior to this, but this is how it identifies a duplicate. I know IP addresses change. You might have them changing every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. So if you run the sniffer again and do another import, it won't duplicate it because that MAC address will be placed here. And so it will just see that the IP address changed, and it will update that field for you, but it won't create another asset. So prior to the integration, this network tab wouldn't be there. So those of you that are using a version prior to that, you won't see that network tab. But all the rest of them would be here. Now, We have the asset fields where you can put in model number, serial number, who it belongs to. Just know that anytime it says eHD, it's a user within the help desk. And so if that person isn't added in the help desk, their name wouldn't appear here. Under accounting information, we can track the purchase order number, the warranty date, when you're going to dispose of it, any of this information here. The network tab we kind of went over. The associated tickets, this is where when your technicians are working on a ticket, they can go ahead and attach an asset to that ticket. And so anytime they do that, those tickets will appear here. So this particular asset has 4 different tickets or 4 different issues that have happened with this particular asset. So you can come in here and you can click to view the detail of the ticket to see exactly what happened, maybe what they did to fix it. So it's just a way to track, you know, what's going on or what issues you're having, you know, maybe when you're going to go to repurchase something, you know, you want to see if you should go with that brand again or something different. Under software licenses, you can go ahead and add in particular licenses that apply to this asset. So the only one that I have come over here and added is the Microsoft Suite. But let me just click on software licenses here. I can click New Software, and you can type in the product name, version, vendor. This, again, would be a vendor that you would set up prior to. How many licenses, when you purchased it, and go ahead and save that. And then when you're looking at assets, then those items will be available for you to attach. So if we're looking at this particular asset and we wanted to add the Microsoft, we can just go ahead and add it like that. And then we'll know that this has been installed on this machine. Remote management, this is so that your technicians can remote in and look at items that are happening on tickets that have been called in. These last tabs, though, these are all custom tabs that you can add. If there's some sort of information that you would like to track as far as an asset is, you can go ahead and add in a tab. So like oil changes. I think a lot of people use our custom fields, which are on tickets, and this is kind of the same thing. It's just custom fields for assets. So this particular example was for a transportation department, just so that they could keep track of when the oil changes were and what the VIN number was. This one was named, oh, it looks like there's nothing in there. Under parts, you know, you can put in what the cost, what was purchased. I mean, these are all things that you would just create if they were just extra information that you need as it pertains to assets. Now, one thing that you do need to know is when you are working within this Assets tab here at the top, if you want to do any searching or filters, that's going to be here on the left-hand side. Up here, it pertains to tickets. And so here would be the asset piece, reporting or filters or, you know, adding a vendor, software licenses, anything like that. It's all going to take place here with this menu bar on the left. Okay, so those are the 2 questions that Kyla has sent me over, software licensing and the asset management feature. As far as the SLA and the watcher feature goes, that's pretty much all I had for it. This one hasn't been set up, so right now we're just seeing all of the technicians. Let's see, she just sent me another question. Okay, that issue of when we upgraded to version 11 and we were adding assets inside the ticket itself. So for those of you who don't do that, let me just show you what they're talking about. This one actually has one. But you can click here to go ahead and add an asset. And this is giving an, well, this is what it's doing. It's blank because I'm on version 11 right here. So that has been fixed, and we are actually testing it right now. And our next release, which is going to be 11.0.1, it just has a couple bug fixes in it, and that should be out within the next 2 weeks. But if you are a customer who is needing that right now, I've already sent it out to a couple customers, and it is working to where you can go ahead and attach that asset. If you just want to contact me, then I can have you work with Dan, and you can get that installed before it's released, because I know that we did have a few customers that it was a big deal, and so they had to roll back to a previous version in order to get this to work. But that is a feature that in the next release, 11.0.1, it will be in there, and that won't be an issue. Okay, so we have a question here that says, can you send auto notification for upcoming expirations on software licenses? No, you can't. It's actually the software licensing piece. Notice here it says that we have 250 licenses and there's one installed. There's no notifications that are sent out to let you know that you're over. It's not managing it for you. It's just a place for you to keep the information, to track the information, but not necessarily manage it for you. So I am going to let you go ahead and put in any questions or ask any questions that you might have. Does the asset piece tie into ZenWorks? Yeah, we do have, it does integrate with ZenWorks. That integration can be set up, logged in as the administrator. So let me show you here. Right here under this ZenWorks configuration is where you would need to put that information in, logged in as the admin. All right, I'm just going to give you about 5 minutes to go ahead and put in any other questions that we can address on the webinar. So I'm just going to turn it back over to Kyla unless she needs me to answer anything. Okay, I do see a question here of how is the watcher different than adding as a CC. The difference is you don't have to know the email address. A lot of complaints that we had was that the CC and the BC didn't integrate with the LDAP, and it didn't have the auto correct on, and so the autocomplete. And so the watcher, as soon as you click in that box, it's going to show you anybody that has been added in the system, so you can just click their name. It's just a simpler way of doing it. Okay, how to edit a custom field. Yes, I can review that. Okay, so I'm logged in as the admin, and I'm going to click on Custom Field Setup. So here is a custom field that I have set up. I don't know what kind of editing you're doing, but I'm going to go ahead and edit it here. Now here's my question. It's referring to a printer. If you notice, the category is hardware, the category option is printer. I'm just going to go ahead and add a question mark there.
Hey, Catherine.
Yeah.
I cannot see your screen. I'm trying to give you presenter rights, and I can't see it.
Okay, sorry.
No, sorry.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what I had here is it plugged in? This is just one that is under hardware and printer. So I'm going to click here to edit it. I'm just going to place a question mark there. If you're changing the field type, I mean, you can go ahead and do that. I don't know if you want to, whoever asked that question, put in exactly what you're changing. We can go ahead and do it here. But I'm just going to add in a new option. It's tied to tech services, hardware, printer. So if I save that, it should not create a duplicate. It should just go ahead. Notice my question mark is here. I'm going to click back in here. And here's my other option of maybe. So let's go ahead and test this out on a ticket. Just to make sure that it's not showing up twice. So I'm going to select tech services. Category was hardware, and the category option was printer. So it looks like my question mark does appear, and there's my other option. And it doesn't appear to be duplicated. If you want, I mean, you can give me a call, and I can look at what you're doing to see why it would be creating it twice. Kyla, do you have any other questions?
We have one other one that says, do the CC names have access to also view the entire ticket or just the ones listed under Watcher?
Okay, say that one more time.
So do people who are CC'd on a ticket have the ability to view the entire ticket, or is that just a privilege of the Watcher?
No, if they're CC'd on it, then they'll get all of the notifications. And if they were to click on the link, they could come to this screen and they would only be able to see basically what the user sees. So I guess they kind of work the same. The difference is, you know, if you have a technician in there, then they can go ahead and make changes to that ticket, and you can just add multiple people as working on that ticket.
Okay, and I just gave you one more that says, where do I set the groups that users can pick when entering their own tickets? I don't want them to have access to the IT department, just CBI.
Okay. Those are, let me log in as the administrator. There's a role in the help desk, and it's called member. And so what you'll want to do is, if you only want somebody to see one group and not others, then you'll just need to add members to those groups. So here under user accounts, I can go ahead and select this end user, and I can make them a member of a certain group. And then they're only going to see the groups that they're a member of. And so that's how you can prevent them from seeing other groups that, you know, that they don't have access to or they don't need to be putting tickets in for.
Okay, and that's everything I have for right now.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and turn it back over to Kyla. But like I said, I can send out this the help file that I have here on the SLA feature to anybody that would like that. We can send that out after the webinar is over. Thanks, Kyla.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, I wanted to just take a minute and tell you guys about our newest promotion going on through the end of September. For each additional license you purchase, we are going to send everybody a Fitbit Charge HR. On top of that, we are giving a great referral bonus if you refer a new department within your company. So if you'd like to set up a demo or request a quote, feel free to contact me or Catherine anytime and we can get that to you. I'm going to leave just a few more minutes. I know we got a lot of questions. A few more minutes if anybody else has any other questions or if there's something we didn't touch on. We'll leave some time for that right now. Okay, we are going to go ahead and wrap up. Just a quick reminder that we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Feel free to connect with us on any of those sites, and if you have any questions after the webinar ends, you can contact us directly by phone or email anytime. Thank you guys, and you all have a great day.